What's going on, guys? Serial Entrepreneur here for another episode on the Digital Marketing School. And in today's episode, I have something super, I'm a goofball, super cool for you guys. And it's going to go into website development. Basically, we're going to start off with the very first step, which is picking out your domain and getting hosting set up. So that's what we're going to talk about. And in this episode, I brought in my friend and guest, expert web developer. His name's Ryan. He actually works here in Atlanta. I know him, or I've met him through a mutual friend, but he works here in Atlanta at one of the major dealership conglomerates, and he is their web developer. He manages several different websites, plus he does freelancing where he has, what did you say, like 20, 30 clients that you do freelancing for? It's a lot of clients. He does a lot of clients that he just does web development. So he also does the stuff for my clients. Whenever I pick up a client and they need a website developed, I basically just hit up Ryan and say, hey, what can you do? And then we talk. So he's going to give you how he, does his web domain setup, how he does his hosting setup, and we're going to give you some quick tips that you need to know when looking at purchasing hosting or purchasing a domain for a business. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Ryan. But Ryan, what's up?
Hey, how's it going? So as Jordan mentioned, I'm Ryan Kezar, and I've been a web developer for 8 years now. I'm a developer now for a Fortune 500 company, like you mentioned as well. I'm a front-end developer. There is a difference in that. Maybe you'll learn that in this course. I don't know. But here I am. I'm going to help you do the first step to getting a website, which is picking a domain, hosting service, and then prepping all of your content to go live on a website.
Tell them make sure to give them your email address and your website too.
Oh, yeah. If you guys want any additional help or consultation, you can always just go to ryankezar.com and just fill the form out there. It goes directly to my personal phone, so I'm on it all the time.
Yep, and that's going to be in the video. You'll see it. It'll probably already be in the video. You probably guys already saw it. Or it'll be in a document. So if you guys need help, like he said, just hit him up. Go ahead, Ryan.
All right, so let's pretend we're going to start a website.
Yeah, let's do it.
So when you're starting a website, there's a couple of things to consider. First and foremost is the domain. There's tons of resources on this everywhere. A couple of things to look for first is that you have to find your domain name, which we'll give a couple of tips in a second. And then to pick where you want to register that domain name. So there's companies out there called registrars. You might recognize some of them like Google or GoDaddy. That's the one we'll be using as an example. They will be the ones that register your domain name. So these are companies that are accredited. There is an accreditation process. I think in the document we're providing, if you want to just shop as many as you can, they'll all be in that document. So without further ado, let's do this. For the example, I'm going to use GoDaddy because it's the best for support. And a lot of you guys understand are entrepreneurs, and easy is the way to go. So I know GoDaddy's got great support, so we're going to use that as an example. I'm going to go ahead and load it up here. Boom. Okay. So find your perfect domain name. So there's things to consider when you're finding your perfect domain name. Some quick tips. They're in the document that Jordan will share with you guys, I'm sure. Number one is the number one thing when picking a domain name is you want to include the name of your business. This is like the number one golden rule, SEO. You want people to find you, you have to have your name of your business in your domain. It's pretty simple. So a lot of times your domain name would probably already be taken. So then you start going to some other tips like geolocation. So say you're like a delivery business in Minnesota. You want to do like catering, and then you'll put a geotag in there. For our example, I think I'm just going to do a pizza company, and I'm just going to do my initial like rkpizza.com. No geotags yet because I think that this will be available, and it has the relevant keywords. I'm a pizza company. It's got my initials. My name of my business is RK Pizza. It's got everything. So we're going to see if we got this. Boom. RK Pizza is available. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to the cart. Pro tip. A good thing to do when you're checking out domains is to use a application called Honey. It's just a way to save money because domains really aren't this expensive. It's a digital service, so quick discounts. Just use Honey. It's an extension for your browser. I'll just let Jordan talk more about that when I'm loading this up.
Basically, all Honey is, it's a Google Chrome plugin or any kind of browser plugin. But it just gives you discounts on all kinds of stuff. Like when you're shopping on websites, stuff like that, it basically just gets you discounts on whatever websites have a discount available. And GoDaddy always has discounts available.
Yes, which means they probably overcharge for everything.
Yep.
But no, but every step of the process we will be doing, you could probably use like Honey for it. Just, no reason to pay full price. All right, so my domain is available, and then it goes ahead and offers me like this bulk package deal. I'm not going to do that. So it's going to try to upsell you at every step of this process. You just got to try to weed through all of that. This right here, we've added privacy. Here's why. This is actually kind of important, especially for your domain. I don't know when you do clients if they'll care, but when you buy a domain, you have to attach a phone number to it, and you also have to attach an email to it. So if you do not have privacy protection, that stuff will be public, and you'll get a ton of spam email because people sit on these lists every day and just email it. So this is actually pretty important. I would recommend getting privacy protection on your domain. It's $8 a year. That's before Honey, so it's not that pricey. Other things it's going to try to upsell you is a website builder. I wouldn't recommend it.
No, definitely don't ever buy the website builder. The whole purpose of you guys watching these videos is to never use GoDaddy's website builder ever. Seriously, like there's Wix, Weebly, Squarespace. There's so many, platforms out there that are way better to use than GoDaddy's website builder. So just
so like whatever you're looking for. Like if you're looking for easiness, there's a better solution for that. If you're looking for speed, there's a better solution for that. Like everything that you would want on a website, there's a better solution out there. And then right here, create an email address that matches your domain. This is another upsell that we want to stay away from because we're going to learn how to manually set up your own business emails through your hosting, which is free. So I'm just going to continue with these options. No thanks. I guess I have to do this. And then I am going to include the privacy protection. Upsell, upsell, upsell.
Yep. And guys, this is something this is actually something I talk to you guys about too. Like this is one thing you actually want to, I guess, take away from this lesson that's kind of a sales tactic online. All these upsells, GoDaddy makes money on them. That's the way to increase what's called the AOV, average order value. Upsells are the way to do that. So if you have a customer that sells online, make sure you're implementing those into their strategy. Just a external kind of tip.
Yes, and I do work with a bunch of my coworkers used to actually work at GoDaddy, and they can confirm that to the fullest. They made commission on upsells, and there's their business models all upsells. So, so here we are. I have to have this for a month, I guess, and then I'm just going to do 1 year. Like I'd recommend, say, if you're doing a client's, say if you're doing your site, you can be ambitious. You can do 10 years, 5 years. If you're going to do a client site, though, in the past I've had troubles collecting from clients sometimes. So if their domain is 1 year, I just won't renew it, and it expires, and their site goes down. And somehow when that happens, magically I get paid. So you can use that as a strategy for that or not. Yeah, this is preference. It does make it harder. Like when it does expire, it costs a premium to get it back, but you just shove that cost onto your client for being an idiot. So yeah, that's buying a domain. I think that's all the things it does. Yeah. So okay, we got my domain. It's going to be Arcade Pizza. So what's next? You have a domain name. You got to be able to point it somewhere. So you're going to point it to a computer, a specialized computer, and that specialized computer is called a server, and the service that's on a server is called hosting. So let me put my face back on here. All right, cool. So what is hosting? Hosting is a service that holds your site files on a server, which is like an advanced computer or a specialized computer. Web hosting companies provide this service for a charge, like a monthly fee. And then when your potential customers or your potential web traffic, like even if you're just doing a blog, they all need to be able to access that server. So that's what your domain does, points in there. And then, as you can imagine, with automobiles, there's anywhere from a used car to a Cadillac. Same thing kind of goes for hosting. So, and that kind of all matters in the long run. We might talk about that later.
And just one thing, guys, you're going to want to keep in mind, a lot of the hosting services you guys have seen, for example, with GoDaddy. GoDaddy has a hosting service, but they're more focused towards small business. That is their niche. GoDaddy banks on small business owners. They do have enterprise packages, but the ones that they even advertise, you can see down here, we put them on here. These packages that we have right here on my screen are not necessarily going to be what you want to sell to a corporate size business. If this is a small business, they can do with the Prime, Premium, or Enterprise package right here. But all this information right here at the bottom, the 1 gigabyte memory, the 60 gigabyte storage, what is it? Where is it? The 1 CPU, 2 CPUs, all of that basically means the processing speed, or how much data can be stored on the website. And me and Ryan were actually working on a client's website one time, and they had the base package basically through GoDaddy, and we would work on it for, say, 30, 45 minutes, and after that, we were throttling the data, so we'd have to basically quit working because we didn't have any more data. It's like a cell phone almost. You have a limited amount of data that you can work with in a month until they throttle you, or they throttle your speed.
Yeah, and it definitely can happen to you. You'll probably see it one time. If you ever try to skimp on hosting, you'll probably see this error at least once. It's called a 503 bandwidth error. And
it means you get a lot of traffic, basically.
Yeah. A lot of times when a site goes viral, you'll see that error because they didn't buy a good hosting package to across their site.
Right. And so just so you guys know, we put Liquid Web down here. This is who I recommend looking at if you're going to go maybe a little more, like if it's a corporate business or something like that. If it's smaller end business and they're just starting out, or they don't have thousands and thousands and thousands of people visiting their site a day, then they won't need a package from Liquid Web.
All right, so we're going to explore I'm going to go just through example hosting purchase. Going to use GoDaddy again, even though we kind of bashed it a little bit, but GoDaddy would be sufficient for your personal site and probably for most of your clients. The only ones that wouldn't would be like Jordan was saying. We had a client that had just thousands and thousands of inventory, and it just was too much. But so I'm gonna hop on my screen share again.
Yeah, and like Ryan was saying, guys, like it has to be a big corporation, or they have to receive a lot of people coming to their website, or they have to have a lot of data behind their website for it to need one of those corporate style packages. Most small businesses and medium-sized businesses, like attorneys, restaurants, doctors, contractors, all those people, they can deal with a basic website and basic hosting package because people aren't flooding there to buy products. They're flooding there. If they're flooding there, it's just to get information and to get a phone number or something like that.
Yes. All right. So I'm going to go to hosting under the menu. GoDaddy menu is like kind of hidden just right here. And hosting, I'm going to check out some hosting plans. Oh, look, it's on sale. It's always on sale. Okay, so this is actually this is probably what you want to use, especially when you're first starting off. It's cheap. It's only $3.50 a month. Cheap. I'm not supposed to use the word cheap. It's affordable at only $3.49 a month, and it's got everything you'll need, and it's got for like one website. And if you have small clients, like I just recently did a massage parlor. Like this would be perfect for them because they got a target niche city and they're a small business. So like economy, and they only have one website. So this is what I'd use for them. And now if you're going to do anything more than that, or if you're looking at speed or bandwidth, you just go up to Deluxe, which is Deluxe is right here. And then I remember I was kind of talking about it a little bit, but you can start getting those specs a lot higher if you go to Ultimate. Double the processing power, free SSLs. I think we were talking about that a little bit, and free premium DNS. So I'm just going to do the economy, I think.
Let them know really quickly what the SSL is for.
Oh, yeah. So SSL, you'll probably want to use this, and you'll have to use it on any website that sells products. It's basically making your website official and saying that it's secure for buyers to go buy there. It ties your web address with the business address, and lets people know like you're safe to charge credit cards and stuff. I'm sure you guys been to a site where it says, where you get like warning, this is not a secure site. It stops that from happening. And there's a lot of other benefits for SSL, like you get promoted, like you have higher, like promoted on SEO, you're promoted in search engine results because you're a secure site. It is actually one of the higher valued things by search engines, especially Google. They've said that time and time again. So SSL is good. It is pricey, but some hosting plans come with it. So
And what he was talking about right there when he was saying it helps you with Google, that's SEO, guys. In case you're still confused about SEO, anytime we're talking about search engines, because that's, again, remember, keep it simple. Search engine optimization. That's exactly what it's for. Trying to get higher rankings in search engines. So having an SSL, basically what he was saying was it helps you rank higher on Google.
Yes. So SSL is a form of encryption. So that being said, encryption comes at a very, very cheap cost for GoDaddy. So you can usually get the service cheaper in other places. Like right here, it says $584 a month. Like that, in my opinion, that's kind of pricey just because you can do encryption for free or SSL for free if you know how. But something you want to consider definitely, especially for a client that's selling products online, it's vital. So I'm going to select a short-term length because the site is just for example.
And since we're doing a pizza restaurant, we don't necessarily need an SSL. We could always, just so you guys are clear, you can buy an SSL for any type of website. It doesn't have to be for people who sell products online only. You can do it for any website. It's just when you're thinking about or building a website for someone that sells a lot of products online, you definitely need to have it for them.
Right. And like you're saying, like for my pizza business, I'm not taking any online ordering. I am literally just a business card online. So, and I have a tight budget, so I'm not getting it. So here's another little feature. This is kind of important. I would recommend it. This is a site backup and restore. I've had a client or two over the years actually get hacked by foreign IPs. So this will back you up from that. It does happen. It will happen, especially you're more prone to it because you guys are all first-time web developers or web builders. So it's really important to get this. It's really cheap, and it's, lack of a better word, it's an insurance policy. So I definitely recommend this for your site, and then you can talk to your clients about the benefits of it as well, maybe adding that on. I'm continuing these options.
And this is all stuff you guys can upsell too. Like if you choose to set this up for them and you're just going to bill it to them, like say you just tell them, look, I'm going to set up all your hosting for you, and you charge them for that. So if GoDaddy charges you right here, we're at $50.58, you could charge we could do $100 a month, and you're making an extra $50 a month off of that. So you could charge whatever you want. I'm just giving an example of what you could do with this to make some extra income.
Yes, and that's what GoDaddy's doing. They're essentially renting out servers and stuff, and it costs them cents to provide you backups, but they're charging you monthly for it. So you do the same practice. All right, so checkout. So by the time I was done, I averaged about, I think, $65 to get my domain name and my hosting. So then we would go to actually building the website. This is actually the hardest step, and this is also the most time-consuming step. And this is where a lot of people kind of drop the ball, to be honest, and where there's the most opportunity is content. Content is preached by every single search engine provider. It's preached by every single SEO coach, and it's the backbone of your site. So you can make it look as pretty as you want, but if you have no content to be read by search engines, it's going to just trash. So a couple of things when you are thinking about preparing your content. Let's see. Oh yeah, we have a couple. So Jordan has his document. I think he shares. You share,
Right, Jordan?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, all the documents go in the course. So
yeah. So it has a kind of like an outline, but you got to think about some things like headings and H tags, metadata, keywords, and the rest of your copy. So what are those exactly? Headers is the first thing that's read by search engines. So that's like a title. And then there's a kind of a trick to doing this. You have one main title and then you have subtitles. So like if you're ever reading, you can go to any blog post from a reliable source, like even like New York Times, and you'll see that they have one large title and then every paragraph will have a subtitle.
right. So really quick, Ryan. Basically, guys, if you're looking at my screen right now, he keeps saying titles. If you look right here at the top of this page right here, you can see right here it has a title. If you hover over the tab of the website that you have open, it'll show you a title. So if I go to like Nike.com and I hold it over the tab for Nike, it's going to show me right there, Nike Just Do It, Nike.com. That's their title. That's their actual website title that is in the code. And that's the first thing that Ryan was mentioning. That, huh?
Right? You noticed that Nike was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's important to say your keyword, which would be your business. Like in my title, I would have RK Pizza, but that's just the home page. You'll have a bunch of sub pages that your titles will have to, you want to still have RK Pizza in there some way, pizza in there some way, or Ryan Keysar. You want to just keep it consistent and never have more than one of those titles, the H1.
That's important.
Right. So I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, I'll share my screen so that way you can see what I'm talking about. But basically when he said there's subsections of the website, for example, like this is the home page. Whoops, that's not the home page. This is the home page. And then this would be a subsection, so men's. And then we have all shoes, lifestyle. All of these are subsections that would have different titles. So men's lifestyle shoes, Nike.com. You can see that right here. So that's what he's kind of talking about right there. You don't want any of these to be the same because it tells Google when it starts to crawl your site and build SEO for or an SEO type ranking for your site. It'll say, okay, well, he has duplicate pages. Duplicate pages are a negative feature. So
yeah. So before we go into rabbit hole, I think you do coaching on analytics and stuff too?
Coaching on analytics, like,
or I mean, because you want to.
What specifically?
Well, and if you keep an eye on your analytics and you keep an eye on your
Google Analytics.
Yeah.
For your site. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
You'll see what tags are working and what's not. So
right.
Yeah, so meta tags, keywords, kind of like we kind of already touched. You want, your specific keywords to your business and your titles, your H1s, your H2s, and even in your copy. You do want to be careful with keywords because they've started taxing people who keyword stuff, which is just trying to shove as many keywords as you possibly can in a site.
That's not a good thing, guys. Don't do that.
That man, in the early 2000s, that's what everyone was doing. When you hired an SEO company back then, they stuffed the crap out of your website and keywords. So now you actually have to do some critical thinking. You actually have to write content, which is what Google and everyone wants. So that's the rest of your copy.
And guys, we go over all of that in some of the other videos when we talk about content marketing, creating content. All of that is discussed in those videos, and that's why it's so important. I go into this a lot, and it goes into that second part that Ryan's about to get into, which is SEO ranking. All of that all of this first part, the headers, the H tags, if you guys are following along in the document, the metadata, the keywords, and all of your actual copy on your website, like the content, the meat of the website, all of that helps boost your SEO ranking. So that's why all of this is so important, because if you just build a website and throw your services on there, but don't take the time to plan out not only the content on the website, but then the back end as well, you're not really building a strong site. And that's why we stress all of this, so much, because your site is your money site. You like to think of your website as the money or the money maker. That's where people end up, and that's what actually gets people to convert into a sale. Usually before someone calls you, they visited your website to get a phone number. Or usually before someone makes a sale on an e-commerce store, somebody probably visited that site.
Yes, and if they're shopping on it, they've been to a lot of pages on it. So yeah, if you don't take SEO seriously, it's like setting up your shop in an alleyway with no sign on it. You have all this great stuff inside, but everyone's gonna walk by and not see it. So SEO is important.
Right, and that leads into just the third part, which all of this kind of relates, which is site organization, and just making sure that like he mentioned up here, for example, that there aren't two H1s that are the same, or two subsections, so H2s, your secondary headings. None of those are the same. You want to make sure that everything is unique and that it's organized and that there's a structure to the site, that you don't just have different pages popping up everywhere or a bunch of broken or missing links. That always throws stuff out.
So yes, this is the hardest step. I'm trying to wrap it back up here. And this is also the most deep. It's also the most deep step, for lack of a better word. This can have videos in its own. You can do each of these bullet points in its own video, but so just remember that is the hardest step. So domain first, hosting company second, and then you get to the juice. Well, we call it at my work, we call it sweet nectar content.
It's a web developer thing, guys. Yeah. They love their content.
Yeah, that's where all the magic happens. Is that sweet nectar content. So.
And then just the two last little points, guys. Make sure you have blog content, deep inbounding and outbound link structure. So we talk about inbound and outbound links in our SEO topics. So if you guys haven't seen the SEO videos, make sure to check those out. And then lastly, just make sure that if you have products or services listed on the site, that they have actual descriptions that go with them. Don't just list something and say, that's our product. Put something on there for Google to read. The description is less for the consumer as it is for Google. It's actually more for Google than it is for the consumer. Because you know how it is. If you're a consumer, you don't actually read the description half the time. I mean, unless it's like a review. You might read it, but most of the time, it's more for the benefit of Google.
Yeah, that's important. It's another way to put keywords in and stuff too, and get that organic traffic. So yeah, we covered a lot of stuff and kind of fast. So hit up Jordan if you have questions. You can hit up me too. Again, my freelancing company is RyanKizar.com, RK Studios. I'm pretty nice, I promise.
No, Ryan's a cool guy, guys. You guys will love working with Ryan. If you need help, if you really need help with web development, or if you need a consult, I recommend, because a lot of you guys ask me questions about web development. All right, a lot of you. Set up a consultation with him. He does one-on-one consultations just like I do, and I'm guaranteeing you it will clear you up on a lot of stuff, because if you let Ryan know ahead of time, what you need to understand, and he can, map out exactly what to talk to you guys about, it'll be so much easier for you to understand what you really need to get for web development. So if you need any help at all, make sure to reach out to Ryan. Ryan, thank you so much for coming on again. You guys get excited because the next episode that we're actually going to go into is building a website from start to finish. We're going to go on to Wix. I talked about this in my live video actually that I shot earlier today. We're going to go from start to finish on Wix. Building a website, a basic 4 to 6 to 8 page website for a client where you can make a quick $1,000, literally putting in probably a day's worth of work. I can build
the challenge of doing it with no coding. So
yeah. And there's no coding, like you said. We're going to teach you.
So it's doable.
Right. It's going to be all of the stuff that you need, from design, content, images, logos, and then we're going to talk a little bit about SEO on Wix, like how you would implement some of the SEO features that they have on Wix, right? So that's it for now, guys. Ryan, again, thank you. We'll talk to you guys on the next episode. That one's going to be coming here pretty soon. So you guys stay tuned. But for now, guys, Serial Entrepreneur out.